Now you started talking about the law, and I remember then the National Assembly, they had to do this for the people and everyone. We even had it as one of our polls here on Channel Television, looking at the performance, implementation of the budget, as well as other areas of governance. Don't forget that the National Assembly, these are elected members, representing the people, and they say they were actually speaking on behalf of the people. Your office, same with some ministers, you are appointed officers, so it seemed to the people that the appointed people are not doing what the elected people, who are the representatives of the people, want them to do. I'm quite sure you must have heard that debate, and it's been
I wouldn't agree with you entirely. You see, the president and the vice president campaigned throughout the length and breadth of the country, saying this is what we will do for you if you elect us. So they were elected to do certain roles and jobs. The National Assembly people were also elected by their constituents to do certain type of job. One, to make law and provide an oversight over what the executive is doing. The executive is elected to run the economy, decide on the plan, and move the country forward. In doing their job, the president and the vice president rely on the provision of the Constitution to have a cabinet of people that they think are worthy to serve the people of this country. So what happens is that they nominate and propose to the National Assembly. So the National Assembly people will vet these nominees, approve or not approve. If the National Assembly people are reviewing and vetting, it simply means that Nigerians are speaking through their representative. So by the time they are approved by National Assembly, it means Nigerians have approved the appointment of these guys. So it's no longer a case of elected and unelected. Okay, you can say they were not elected, but they were selected by the Nigerian people. Okay?
Through the National Assembly.
Through the National Assembly, because National Assembly is the representative voice of the people. If the representatives of the people say these guys are good to serve our country, it means that Nigerians have said that these guys are good to serve these people.
Brings us back to voting.
So they have the right and the authority of the people to do what is right for them.
Okay, speaking of the National Assembly, and I'd like to get this out of the way before we forge ahead. What do you say about this notion that the concept of constituency project goes against the principle of separation of powers in a democracy? The National Assembly is there to make laws, as you highlighted. The executive provide for the people, because they argue that after all, what is the difference between provision of basic amenities and constituency project?
Well, I don't think it's wrong. I don't think it's something that we should debate here, because it happens everywhere else in the world. People who are elected to represent their people make promises. They don't necessarily
influence. I mean, the project in the budget across the world.
Well, yes, you find that somebody says, "I need road in my community because that's what they told me when I was campaigning." They say, "Well, we need to have road, or we need to have electricity, or we need to have something, or it could be water." Now, that is not illegal. It's not corruption.
Yeah, but it doesn't take the form of a constituency project, which is budgeted for, different from the budget provisions of a country.
Yeah.
Because if every state House of Assembly comes forward with that, what then is the function of the executive?
No, you see, let's get it right. The constituency project or projects are managed by the executive, not by the National Assembly. They simply said...
Initiated by the National Assembly.
It doesn't matter who initiates it. Somebody must initiate an idea.
It has to come from the right place.
Yes,
that's why there's principles of separation of powers.
No, they are not the ones executing. That's the separation of power. What they say is that I would like to have a road in my community. What's wrong with that? I would like to have transformer.
Provided for in the budget ordinarily.
No, but you see, they are being more specific. You see, they are not taking any chances. They are saying, look, for my community, because this cuts across all members of National Assembly. That means everywhere in the country is covered. It is a question of choice for each member to decide what he wants for his own community. That's really the difference. If they allow the executive to make that judgment for them, the executive will make a general decision that should be okay for everybody as they see it. But then I said, no, I'm representing my people. I see it better than you guys. So this is what my people want this year. That's really the essence of constituency project.
Does it then mean that if this constituency project, I mean, it can take the shape of saying certain business must be done, or you could spring this up in my community so that the economy of that community could be improved upon? It could take any form of shape in that case.
Yes.
And the government, they would do that.
As long as it's consistent with our overall development strategy.
What about the ongoing projects which you talked about? I mean, in terms of performance, you said that for ongoing projects, the government is expected to hit the ground running.
Yeah.
Which ones have they done so far?
Well, you see, if you look at East-West Road, there are a number of projects, so many. We have in excess of 6,000 ongoing projects in this country, as you probably know. If you look at East-West Road, we talked about Niger Delta. The reason why they were able to disburse money as quickly as they did is because they are ongoing projects. So if you have ongoing projects and you make a budgetary provision for the continuity of that project, you simply keep going. If you have water works, if you have electricity projects, if you have aviation projects, you just keep going. But if it's a new project, a new idea, the process is a little bit longer.
Do you have any further information or information about this abandoned project? Remember the government set up this committee at that time. I think it was about 7.7 billion naira, which they say worth of abandoned project, and so...
Billion naira?
Yes, billion naira. As at 10th July 2012.
Or billion?
Billion, that's what
trillion.
Is it trillion or billion?
What is billion naira?
Oh, it should be trillion. Oh, that's even huge.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So what are they doing about all of this? Because it's beginning to become consistent.
Well, you see, this is the thing the government is trying to clean up. I read a piece written by my brother and friend Shegu Adeni recently about envelope system, where he said that a budget envelope system is about sharing money to ministries and agencies. No, it's not correct. What you find is that in the past, people put projects that are not properly articulated and planned for in the budget. They spend the money. Halfway, you discover that you can't execute the project because you have not done the proper evaluation and due process. The next year, you start a new project because you've not been able to fund this old one. And it keeps going on and on and on and on. What the president is saying is that let's clean our books. There will be no new project. Let us finish ongoing projects before we start any new project. Now, what that means in technical sense is that you as a new minister cannot initiate your own project until you have finished ongoing projects. And we think it's a good thing.